Good morning and welcome to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning will begin on foster care. According to Children's Hospital of Wisconsin, the need for foster care parents in Milwaukee County is great. As many as 100 children are removed from their homes each month, and at any given time, more than 2,000 children are in foster care in Milwaukee County. My first guest is Jermaine Red, who is the Executive Director of Fresh Start Family Services here in Milwaukee, and Shaun Roby. He's the Associate Director and also works as a social worker with Fresh Start. How are you?
Doing great, Andrea.
Good.
Thank
morning.
you both for being here. I appreciate it. And needless to say, you are always looking for individuals who are willing to open their homes and be a foster parent. So if you would, tell us more about Fresh Start and what it is you guys do.
Fresh Start is a licensed child placing agency through the Department of Children and Families. We have contracts with the Division of Milwaukee Child Protective Services, formerly the Bureau of Milwaukee Child Welfare, and through Wraparound Milwaukee. And so we license homes, we identify individuals who qualify to take care of children, and we provide support. And that support can look like training, it can be financial support, it's resources, mentoring, educational supports, tutors to work with the children while they're in our program, and some of those children even graduate to an adoption with those individuals who've been caring for them for a while.
That's awesome. So the question that I'm sure you're asked all the time, who qualifies to be a foster parent?
Well, I would say there's a state required format that everybody has to go through, and depending on what level of care that an individual is looking to apply for, that will constitute the route they take. But typically we start majority of our providers as a level 3 home, and that's basically it. Every individual has to complete a state required 36-hour process where 30 of those hours are live, the other 6 are online. Then there's a battery of background checks that we have to do for the individual applying and anyone else over the age of 18 in the home. Then there's health screens for everybody in the house, home inspections. So we kind of cover a full gamut to make sure financial review part of that as well. Yeah.
So quite a few things, which makes sense when you're talking about bringing an adolescent into someone's home. It needs to be, vetted and make sure everybody in the home is going to be where they need to be. So speaking of the kids, we know that there are a lot of kids of different ages who come from different backgrounds and situations, and I know that in this business you're in, you're always talking about the trauma that kids go through, but I think those of us in the media, we're hearing more and more about it, and I think it's important to talk about the trauma care that is made possible through some of the programs and services when it comes to foster care and adoption.
Well, I think the first thing when we talk about what trauma-informed care is basically responding to a youth based off of their history, understanding their history, and then you apply care or you extend care based off the information that you have. So if a youth is coming from a home that has violence and domestic violence, if there is drug and or addiction issues present in that particular home, if there's been sexualized abuse in that particular home environment, and you bring that child into your home, it is impossible to be able to provide quality care to that young person absent the knowledge of where they're coming from.
Gotcha.
So we respond based off of what you know about our children. And there's a number of ways or mediums in which you can get that information. One is just talking with the youth. The other is reading the paperwork, psychological exams or physicals, paperwork, the workup that comes with children, making sure that you're informed about that. But I think what we can do to make sure that our caregivers are trauma informed is making sure that they get the right training. Training about how to care for a sexually abused child. Education, almost every foster child that I know of, a lot of them come with academic deficits, So when you're looking at children whose placements, home life has been disrupted, school life environment has been disrupted, their medical life has been disrupted, there's a lot of disruption that's going on. That's traumatic. But making sure if you know that a child has academic deficits, that you're offering tutoring services, you're connecting them with Sylvan Learning Centers and some of the other get them a tutor, just to help build. Making sure that you're contacting the school, that you have the presence, you're hands-on. That's really important. But I also think what's really important, if you're going to respond to trauma in children's lives, you have to go back to where they were, who harmed them. So to try to heal children absent of working with their biological families, sometimes you spin your wheel, because the people who've injured you are those individuals who can probably most likely heal you. You know, so if you have an issue with the parents abusing their child or neglecting their child, those parents have the answers. They have the antidote. So we're just on the exterior, just trying to support as best we can. But it's so important that we do shared parenting. And if the parents aren't in a healthy place, then you find somebody in that community, in that family, that you can help bridge that gap and be that conduit of healing for that young people.
Yeah, and sometimes when parents have taken in foster children and they realize that there are triggers to some of the trauma, so really helping foster parents understand what that child's been through or children that they're bringing into their home is really important. Another thing that I think we should definitely talk about while we still have time is the fact that it's an issue when you have a large number of kids, thousands a year, who age out of foster care, and then they're kind of left to fend for themselves, but really they don't have skills that have been taught to them, like here's how you have a bank account and
or
just
write a resume, complete an application. Absolutely. And
everyday things.
And we see it so often, and it's really, really tragic. And that's why we always try to implement with our providers very, very early, whether it's a 3-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 15-year-old, we can instill values and independent living skills very, very early. And it may look very basic for a younger youth, but then the older they get, let's weave in some more of those creative things, like how to write your name, how to spell, and build on that, because everybody needs to know how to write a resume, complete an application, how to open doors for elderly people. So some of those basic values that they can transition on through their life.
How to search for employment is really, really important. You know, how to present yourself on an interview. You know,
and it's things we all kind of take for granted. But
how to make pancakes.
Right. So you have a boys' shelter, correct? So I'm guessing that's a great place for you to start in teaching things, because they're there every day and you're able to take advantage of teaching them those everyday things.
Absolutely, but I think wherever a foster child is a great place to begin. You know, whether that's a foster home or in a shelter care facility, a group home, a residential care, because we know what the life outcomes look like, quality of life outcomes look like for foster children. They have some of the worst outcomes, you know, when you compare that to their peers. So we have to teach them how to make toast, you know, wherever they're at, you know, how to make your bed, how to clean your body. All those things are really important. So we shouldn't wait till they get into a shelter or a group home setting. This has to be everybody's value who come in contact with a foster child.
Yeah, and you don't take for granted that they know that because other kids that you've come in contact with know that. It's interesting. So research shows that foster youth are much less likely to go to college than other high school graduates, and approximately 20% of foster youth who graduate from high school attend college. So you are pretty much concerned with academic support when it comes to these children as well.
Absolutely. 20% of the kids who are in foster care attend college, and only 3% of those actually complete college, compared to their peers where there's a 60% completion rate, you know. So we really have to focus on educating and making foster children aware that there's federal money out here for you, you know, called ETV, education, I forget what the T, but voucher, transition voucher for these young folks, where they can get $5,000 a year, you know, to go to school. There is an eligibility criteria, but it is the responsibility of case manager, foster parents to know this and constantly present this information to every youth in care, that there is money. Money shouldn't be a barrier for you going to school. Now, there may be some housing concerns, you know, when there's holiday vacations or summer vacations, where do these young people go? But certainly as a community with all these resources we have, we can fix that.
All right, and that's where you guys come in. You are readily available for people to call and get more information on how you can help them if they're interested in, you know, placing a child in their home, or if they're even thinking about it, right?
Absolutely. But can I give the number to the Department of Children and Families for their scholarship fund for anyone who's have contact with a foster parent? They can call, foster child, they can call 608-422-59 to learn about what financial resources are available to send foster children to college or trade school, an accredited college or trade school.
Well, we'll get that on the screen, and I thank you both for coming by and giving us the information to help those out there really have a better understanding of how they can help change a child's life.
Absolutely.
Thank
you both. It's been a pleasure. Jermaine Red's the Executive Director of Fresh Start Family Services here in Milwaukee, and Shaun Roby, he's the Associate Director and a social worker at Fresh Start. For more information, you can call 414-351-1100, extension 103. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll meet a foster parent who will share aspects of his journey and hopefully encourage you to help make a difference in a child's life through foster care. We'll meet him right after this.